Welcome back, Narratrix family. And to those of you who've just found your way here tonight, welcome home. You know, some stories aren't meant to frighten. They're meant to remind that the dark isn't always a threat. Sometimes it's a mirror. And if you stay long enough, you might just see the hand that's been holding yours all along. Tonight's story takes place on a rainy British evening when the clock stops at 18:07 and a therapist meets a client who isn't quite what he seems. It's about endings, the kind that whisper, "Not yet." So light your candle, listen close, and let's step quietly into the patient who never left. I took the last file from the pile and tapped it twice, as if rhythm could turn it into something I recognized. No referral, no GP name, no history, just a single word on the intake form written in a pen I didn't keep at reception. Ash. I looked up at the door with its frosted glass panel and thought about how many of my clients had walked through it and never truly arrived. Their bodies showed up. Their lives stayed out in the rain. I checked the time. 18:07. My last appointment. The kind that always runs over. He was already inside when I looked again. Not the way people are already inside when you're distracted. Actually already there, as if I had missed the moment of his arrival between one blink and the next. "Good evening. You must be Ash." A man. No, a presence, in a well-cut charcoal coat that looked old without looking worn. Mid-40s perhaps, if faces could be average. His eyes were the precise colour of evenings, blue, until you looked too long and they turned grey. "Please, take a seat. I'm Isla." He sat like someone who knows the shape of chairs. He didn't look around the room, didn't perform the little tour of the bookshelf, the palm plant, the framed print of a Sussex headland. His stillness made the clock behind him louder somehow. "This is our first session. I'll explain how I work. 50 minutes, confidentiality, with few exceptions. I'm interested in what brings you here, and what you hope might change." "My name is Ash," he said. "I've been called other things when needed. I'm here because you asked." I don't think I did. We've not met." "You asked without words. It was late." Most clients begin with weather or work. He'd begun with a riddle. "Let's start simpler. Tell me what feels hardest right now." "Time," he said. "How it moves differently for people who sit in this chair. How it clots around a life that's trying not to keep going." "Are you saying you're feeling suicidal?" He smiled not unkindly. "I never feel anything. I only arrive when feeling cements into decision." Decision. To stop, to rest, to let the ache be carried by someone else. Ash, I work with suicidal ideation often. We can make a plan to stay safe tonight. We'll identify supports, reasons to hold on, the smallest next right thing. Does that sound okay? It's what you say when you're trying to keep someone on a page that's nearly finished. I'm not here for a plan. Then tell me about your week. Of course. His eyes softened. Monday, a woman with a winter cardigan made tea for a man who had already moved out. She put the mug where he used to sit. She washed it carefully. She phoned her sister and said she was fine. Later, when the house had no more jobs to offer, she leaned against the washing machine and called my name without knowing mine. Tuesday. A boy on a train leaned too far into the tunnel wind and remembered his father's hands on his shoulders when he learned to bike. We stepped back and we smiled at each other through the dark. You smiled. People think I don't, he said, amused. I do. I've smiled a lot in this building. Something unpinned inside me. This building. The second floor radiator that won't quite heat the corner. The vending machine in the lobby that eats coins and gives chocolate away. The way your door clicks at 1807, not 1800, because you need 7 minutes to place your face back on. Ash, have we met before? We are meeting now. We're drifting. Ground me, Ash. What feels urgent? You are tired of being the living proof that people can be carried. You are tired of being the carry. I'm a therapist, occupational hazard. Occupations don't hazard the soul, he said, and it was almost tender. People do that to themselves when they keep a light on for everyone else and forget who it was for. Sometimes I forget. Last Thursday, he said, you considered unlocking a bottle you keep for guests, not to drink with them, to disappear from them. Only a mouthful, you promised yourself. You took the lid off, held the cold neck, and listened to the rain. You put it back. How do you know that? He smiled again, like someone remembering a hymn. You asked without words. I'd like to understand, I said, slow and careful. Are you using metaphor? Is this a story about the part of you that wants to stop? The part that shows up when it feels like the day has no more room? Metaphor, he repeated, testing the syllables. No, I'm very literal. People dress me up with metaphor because it's kind to themselves. It helps them look at me. Who are you? Ash, he said again, with a patience that felt like doors opening. It's a softer word than the one you're thinking. His hands were unremarkable. That's what was wrong. Even remarkable hands have flaws. Scar, tremor, twitch. His were a rehearsed absence of all three. What would you like from tonight? To do what I came to do, he said, but slowly. You like slow. You like naming the steps as if that will change where the stairs lead. Ash, may I ask a strange favour? Could you tell me something true about someone I love that you shouldn't know? That way I can feel less caught. He was quiet in the way libraries are quiet, soundless but full. Your twin sister, he said. People think twins live in mirrors. She is your window. She kept a nightlight for both of you the year your mother forgot to come home. You built different lives to argue with the same story. She writes her fears in lists. You write yours in other people's diaries. I didn't tell you I have a twin. No, he said, not unkindly. You told me you keep the light on. What happens if I ask you to leave? I leave, he said, and come back when you ask again. I don't want to. Then I will stay, he said, and for the first time I heard it, the smallest tremor, a note of regret. It's easier when they don't know me. You were not meant to know me. What if you're here for someone else? I said, grasping at benign hallucinations. Another tenant, another office. He reached into his coat pocket and took out a folded card, not paper, something that remembered fire. He held it up. On the front, the logo of this building. Inside, a list of names, handwritten. The third name was Isla Lennox. The fourth, my client at 1700. The one who had missed 3 sessions and texted, "Sorry, traffic." The fifth, my supervisor from my old clinic. Why are we on there? Because roads have signage, he said. Not for me, for you. Are we all? Not tonight, he said gently, and the room gracelessly breathed. You said I asked you. When? He considered. On a walk you took to not cry. You passed a bakery that had closed at 4. You watched a child point at a cake decorated like the moon. You thought it would be so peaceful to stop having to want things. You were not dramatic. You were exhausted. I don't want to die. I know, he said. You want not to be living this way. Yes. Then ask me for that, he said. And the clock, traitor, stopped making sound. I looked at the clock. The second hand rested between markers like a bird about to land. The rain continued without it. My own breath had become a metronome, and I didn't like what it was conducting. What are you? Please, tell me a word I can hold. He didn't change. The room noticed nothing, but language thinned around him, the way mist gives way to a cliff face when you step close enough. I am the one who sits with you when you stop asking your heart to lift anymore, he said. I am the end you have practiced not believing in. I am an old kindness wearing a coat you'll recognize when it's time. you? Death. He tilted his head, almost bashful. That is one of my names. I held it like I would a sleeping child, carefully, terrified to wake it and terrified to drop it. Why do you look like this? So you'll talk to me, he said. So you'll tell me the things you can't say to the mirror. So you'll hear your own life without flinching. Ash, I said. If I say I want to live, will you help me do that? He brightened just a little. The room relaxed only because I did. I am not the helper you call for living, he said. But I can carry something heavy to the border. I can take a weight you no longer have to pretend you can lift. What weight? The one that says you must fix everyone or you are not good, he said, gentle as rain on the back of the hat. The one that says you are allowed to stay only if you never need. I am so tired. I know, he said. Ask me to take it. Take it. He inclined his head like a priest receiving bread he'd already blessed. Nothing moved and everything shifted. It felt like the moment after sobbing where your ribs remember they're ropes, not cages. Is that it? It is never it, he said, smiling. But it is enough for tonight. We sat. The clock remembered itself and made up lost time in discreet gulps. The rain left fingerprints on the sill. I thought about the clients who had almost not made it, the ones who only came back because we scheduled them again and again until they arrived. The ones who taught me there is a door in the dark if you keep putting out your hand. Ash, do you stay long? As long as I am needed, he said. I am always needed, but not always here. When will I meet you again? When words fail you honestly, he said. When you ask me without shame, when it's time to leave truly, or... And here he smiled in a way that made me want to cry out of gratitude and fear. When you invite me to listen while you decide to stay. Are you lonely? He looked briefly puzzled, then amused. People ask me that. I don't carry it the way you do. I hold endings. They are not empty. They are very full. I thought I knew what you were. Stories taught me the scythe, the hood, the bargain. Stories help you practice, he said. You don't need to bargain with me. You need to speak to yourself and not look away. May I tell you something? I asked. Please. I didn't call you to die, he said. I called you because I didn't know how to live without trying to die a little every day. I didn't know I was doing that until now. He nodded as if I had finally signed something. We are done for tonight, Isla. That's very therapist of you. I learn from my clients, he said, genuinely delighted. You taught me to end on time. Shall we schedule? I stopped, smiling despite the tremor. That's inappropriate, isn't it? Not at all, he said, standing. You will see me again, but book yourself something else for 1807 next week. Something that gives back. 1807. Walk with sister. Good, he said. Ash, what happens to the ones who changed their minds at the last minute because someone texted back? Or the kettle clicked, or the cat nudged their wrist? He turned, and in his eyes I saw 1,000 tiny reflections. Bus windows, bathroom tiles, bridge railings, hospital curtains, the chrome gleam of a toaster. They keep the ordinary thing that interrupted the end, he said. They call it luck. I call it another chance that dresses like a small noise. Thank you. Thank you, he said, for asking correctly. The room didn't feel empty. It felt exact. I sat all the way down and did not brace for the floor to fall. I turned to the card he'd left on the table. Its surface was warm. The list of names was gone. In its place, a single sentence written in my own hand. Some nights you keep the door open for others. Tonight, you kept it open for yourself. I wrote 3 words in my notes. Chose to stay. Then I texted my sister. Fancy a walk next Thursday? Her reply came before the typing dots appeared. Always. Some doors open when we're ready to leave. Others open when we need a reason to stay. Tonight's story wasn't about death, not really. It was about the part of us that wants to rest, and the part that still hopes someone will knock. If you've ever felt that pull, maybe, just maybe, you called him too. And maybe, like Isla, you were spared, not by mercy, but by perspective. Thank you for listening, Narratrix family. To those who've been with us from the start, and those who found us tonight, I hope the story offered you something. Peace, reflection, maybe a little courage to stay. And remember, not every story wants to scare you. Some just want you to breathe.